Another junkie. Short shot.
What's up again, y'all? We're back. Another episode of Building Better DJs.
Yeah.
Friendly reminder, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our podcast.
Right
subscribe below to our YouTube or
like
on
they always
podcasts or Stitcher, wherever you listen, watch podcasts. Check us out. www.beatjunkies.com for our record pool. www.beatjunkies.tv for our online school. www.beatjunkiessound.com for our school here at the Beat Junkie Institute of Sound in Glendale.
Yeah, everything mine.
Anyways, we're back. We're talking building better DJs, but more in particular, the topic today is the importance of being in a DJ crew.
Yes.
So obviously, we're in a DJ crew, and
Long time now.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of something that's kind of died down a little bit. I don't know. Are there any modern crews these days, guys? As far as you guys know, is the crew thing still strong in the DJ world?
What's the guy's name? Super Beast DJs. I know, like they're a crew, right? Aren't they? Super
That's
Beast.
that's two guys. Two of the young homies. You know,
Yeah.
they're bringing it back. Shouts out to Raina and K-Swizz. But in our day, it seemed like everybody was forming a crew.
Yeah.
And we came up, obviously, influenced by seeing people in DJ crews. So let's talk about, like, you know, growing up. I mean, like, we obviously are still together and rock as a crew, and you know, I can say, like, so many positive effects of getting down with the Beat Junkies. But let's go around the table and just talk, you know, in particular, if you guys remember early on, like, your earliest memories of even the concept of a crew, or maybe a crew you heard of, like, not even just DJing. I mean, maybe it was a rap crew or dancing crew around your way or anything like that.
Yeah, my first experience with being in a crew was just from the B-Boy, being in a crew called the Floor Masters in Bakersfield. And just the beauty of being in that crew at the time was just learning off each other, kind of like what we do in here in the Beat Junkies, what we've been doing. But that was what I loved about being in the Floor Masters, just learning off each other and just keep getting better. You know, that was I think it was important because at that time I was at a certain level, just kind of like I was in the DJ game, but like at a certain level as a B-boy. And when I got in the crew, I feel I just started getting better and better and better and better. So I think just being in the crew and vibing off each other, it's important.
For sure. What about you guys? You guys have any early experiences seeing crews or
Seeing crews?
or yeah, just being like you're not in a crew yet, and you're like, you know.
I would say seeing crews, I would have to go back to, if we're talking about just crews in general, everyone, there was always a break dance crew, and I would have to say I was part of a break. You know, everybody was part of some break dancing crew. But as far as DJing, I think the first thing I can really remember seeing as far as DJing and crew wise would either be K-Day Mix Masters. I consider that a crew, and then Uncle Jam's Army was another crew that I know was real early in the game. As far as hearing about being in or hearing of a crew, you know, I mean, I had homies that we were crews and whatever, but as far as being influenced from a crew or looking at a crew and like, wow, that whole crew is dope. Every member of that crew is dope. Wow, that's a dope crew. Like, I know that made a big impression on me. Like, looking at that crew, those crews.
No, I think that's important. I think we're gonna revisit that too, Jay. Is like, I think, like, you know, the crews I admired growing up, like you said it's like the individual parts of the crew was what made it so special. You know, I even think in terms of, like, the Juice Crew, or
even that,
you know, just go through rap crews, you know, Wu-Tang Clan. I think of, like,
Ultimate Crew.
Yeah, what it meant. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you came together and you became stronger.
Rock Steady Crew.
Rock Steady
Crew. I mean, there was, I don't mean to cut you off, Babs, but
not at all.
I think crews were important as an important part of growth and development as far as DJing, because then you're not competing with each other, but you're learning from each other, and each person has their own flavor that isn't a crew. Like,
Sure.
like Egypt, like we'll go to. We all listen to the mix masters, so we know Jammin' Gemini was good at one thing. We knew Joe Cooley. If we heard a Joe Cooley on there, we knew what a Joe Cooley was going to sound like on a traffic jam. Or if we heard M-Walk, you're like, okay, oh, M-Walk, he's going to be doing this, that. Or then you heard Tony G, or you heard or Julio G. You heard either one of those dudes, and you're like, oh, they're going to do this, that, and the third. And you already knew the other dudes don't do that in their mix. Like Joe, no one's gonna scratch like Joe. No one's gonna mix like Tony A or any of those dudes, or do doubles like those dudes. So each crew had their whole. They had their own personality, man. And I admired that when I was growing up. Like I didn't know I admired that, but I was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, even to add to that, besides looking up to obviously Uncle Jamzari, K-Day, Juice Crew, Rocksteady Crew. I mean, even local wise, for me, like looking up the local DJ crews or mobile DJ crews. For me, it would be like Public Image Music. There's a group called I know Jay would know this. Double Exposure in Orange County. They're like a big sound system. Just the local ones that are, besides listening to whoever's on the radio, whoever's making noise around the local area. I mean, also there was like Nights at the Turntables and from Carson. So yeah, I mean,
still surprised about that. They're from Carson. I newer knew that.
Nights at the Turntables. Yeah. So I mean, D. I mean, you coming from the Bay Area, how would you say is a little bit more different for you?
Yeah. So where I grew up in the Bay Area, it was all about crews, man. It seemed like you had to be in a crew really to come up. But like Qbert was in a crew. He had a mobile sound system crew. Mixmaster Mike, DJ Disc, myself, Shortcut, and that's how we would battle. They would rent out a hall or like a hotel ballroom, and each crew would bring their sound system and their lights.
So you guys would each have a corner or a side of the room for yourself?
Exactly. Yeah, you had like 20 feet, and you would set up. You know what I mean? And I mean, back then it was like you had a crew. One guy was a scratcher, one guy was the mixer, one guy was the MC, one dude own the lights, you know what I mean? And you form like Voltron, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I think also too like that early on, that's kind of like, I think we all grew up being influenced from hip hop. So I think I think we've all dabbled in other elements too, Choc, you already talking about dancing. D, I know about your criminal record with graffiti. Oh, sorry. Rhett's definitely, faceted in different elements, but, and I think that's a big root of it too. Whether we're talking graffiti, dancing, b-boying, MCing, there was always crews attached
to
sure. it. Whether it was local, like Rhett was saying, or we looked up to people and saw that. And I don't think we realized it, like you said, Jay, at the time, but those crews were probably getting doper because they were together. You know what I'm saying? I think of those individual elements trying to get that same kind of light or momentum they had at certain times. But it probably meant a lot that they were all rocking together, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I brought up Wu-Tang Clan earlier. But I think that's a perfect example of like there's so much talent there, but like the way they bum rush the game, it's exactly what you're talking about, Jay. Like this guy has one style. It's like it was literally on some kung fu shit. It was like everybody has a different style, unique flavor, but they all held this certain standard. And I think like that kind of mentality is kind of like where I think we entered, like beyond the mobile crews and just like, I'm 10 years old and I'm dancing with the homies and I'm young. Those early preliminary stuff. Like when it got more serious and we had this, I think there was a time in the 90s where I started seeing, the homies like the Rocksteady DJs and the X-Men started popping up.
Right.
And during that era, it seemed like in the DJ world, we're talking more specifically now. It's exactly like what you said, D. Like you needed to be in a crew. And I don't think I realized it at the time. I was dolo a long time before I hooked up with you guys. But how important was it for all of us to finally find a crew? Like after many years of doing mobile crews and dance crews and different kinds of things, being in hip hop culture, DJ culture, what did it mean? Us getting together as a crew for everybody individually, being down with a crew and shit.
Well, I know when Jay started the crew, I think it was like for me personally, I think that helped me out become better because Jay was dope, Chris was dope. That made you like you need to step up. and I think I agree. Once everybody started coming to group, it's like it helped push each other to become better. Like it's almost like, not saying we're competing against each other, but it got motivation because like, oh man, I want to do that, and you don't want to be like the weak link also. So that's at least I look at it. I mean, when Jay said let's be a crew, like you're saying, we're coming from different crews, but to have your own crew that everybody's on the same page doing the same thing, that even made it more special because you just, in your other crews, you only can talk about certain things, but what stuff you really want to talk to, you couldn't.
I think what you're talking about, Rhett, is like that transition. I think like because I went through that. I had come from a mobile crew as well, Spinners in Control. this is my
Spinners in Control.
Yeah, this is my high school.
It's out where, Babs? Where's this at?
This is out in 805. This is my first mobile crew. Like I was in high school and stuff. And like, just like you guys said, exactly like D situation. One guy brought this to the table, I brought that to the table, et cetera, et cetera. But after doing it for, unsuccessfully for a year or two, just like Rhett said, I was really into like I wanted to find other cats that cut it up and battled and made 4 tracks and bought records and et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Like the guy who was the MC or the guy who had the truss and lighting, like we might not have had that as much in common. You know what I'm saying? So I know what you're saying, Rhett. So that was a big thing for me with the Beat Junkies. I found like a whole squad of cats who like, oh dude, I found a whole bunch of dudes who just think about this shit 24/7 just like I do, and just so it was a big deal for me. I mean, I felt like I was always looking for someone to talk to and build with, and
yeah, it was life changing for me. Me and you are the last 2 members of the crew.
Yes.
So like when I first got in the crew, I thought like I was like really fresh with my style. And I remember coming to a few practice sessions with you guys, and I was like, man, I got to step it up. I'm not fresh at all. I got to step it up. But what I also loved about that, just being inspired by you guys and, getting in the crew, but you guys were also hipping me not only to like new techniques and new styles, but you guys were hipping me to like videos I should have watched, like battles I should have seen, and, like DJs I should have known about and stuff like that. So it was really, really important for me when I got in the crew. It really changed my whole outlook on DJing and made me into who I am today. So for real. Appreciate it. It is cute. Very cute.
well, I think that's a part of DJing though, right? I think like like understanding and it's like writers, they talk about being like meeting at the writer's bench.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think that's like what you share with like when we talk about this level of crew and like being super passionate about a pretty specific thing. And that competitive nature, like you were talking about, Rhett, everyone like just trying to like be creative all the time and, show each other new stuff every week. On so many different levels, it pushes you. But then like on a practical level, like, like what did I do before I had a crew? Like if I didn't know where a sample came from or what a record was,
right.
Or even if I had to borrow a record or, I can't even make a routine because I need this record. What is it? I don't know. You know what I mean? So there's just definite strength in numbers. And I don't know if this new generation, had to rely on being a crew because of like the internet and technology.
Right.
There's not as much, they're like all this access to knowledge maybe kind of like made it not as big a deal to like get up with each other. And I can't cite, like, I remember I was such a fond memory. Shouts out to Curse, meeting up with you guys at Curse's garage.
Yeah.
I'd go crash at Curse's.
Those are the sessions I was talking about right now.
Or Melo's, and driving all the way from Camarillo to Cerritos every weekend. I look forward to it so much. I remember all week I would spend trying to make routines to show you guys, like, oh my God, I gotta have something new to show you guys this week.
Or driving up all the way to the Bay just to hang out with D and Short.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, we did several of those missions, and I remember just how many breakthroughs I'd have, like hooking up with everybody and squatting up, and it might not have been on the technical side of DJing. It might have just been like putting together, like, like Jay put me up on game on why James Brown was such a big deal back in the day,
right?
And what samples this, what samples that, you know what I mean? And I think like the newest generation, like you got to get out from behind the keyboard a little bit more and physically get up and meet up, and it's something that we try to encourage here at the school.
Yeah,
I still don't think there's enough zeros and ones on the internet to duplicate when you get up physically with people and you really trade energies and really squat up and do what crews do.
I remember even when I couldn't meet up with you guys, I'd call one of you guys on the phone and like listen to this routine on the phone. You probably couldn't really tell what it was sounded like, but you give me like direction and stuff. So that's what I would love about being in the crew. Like, now, if we couldn't meet up, I'd call you guys or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
We did hella phone scratching.
Lots of phone scratching.
Yeah, do you guys remember those days where you'd call each other, put the phone right by the speaker? And,
Can you hear it?
yeah, check
Can you
this
hear
out.
No, I had a perfect technique, like to like that. Well, at least I thought I could get clearly, like I had a way I put the headphone and angled my phone and all that junk. But I remember getting through a lot of techniques. Yeah, scratch for 5 minutes. Actually, I couldn't hear anything. You just
It
did.
was all distorted. I couldn't hear nothing. Do it again.
Sorry, man. I got another call.
Oh,
I
man.
missed it. You can do it again.
We're dating ourselves to our listeners out there, but yeah, like it's nice that you guys could just like whatever, just FaceTime each other and like check this out.
Yeah,
Here's how to do
in this day and age, yeah, right, for sure.
Right, so like we might have been like I'm calling from the 805 to Cerritos.
Don't forget long distance charges too.
Oh, long distance phone charges
We are old.
to learn some scratching and stuff. Yeah.
Long distance. Wow.
No, for sure. One thing I could say about getting in a crew is I distinctly remember I got better. Just like you guys were saying earlier. I think that's one of the biggest things on all facets of my game. I just got better and in a quicker time.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember feeling like I went from a local level to like an international level in a very short period of time because I was sparring all the time with the likes of you guys, But like, you guys, like, let's go around table and speak about, just, what did being in the Beat Junkies and being in this crew, like, do you guys have any memories of, how it affected your guys' game?
Melo-D.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in every way possible. I mean, just technically, musically, apart from DJing, obviously, like, brotherhood, just in every way possible, like, as it pertains to what we do with turntables. But I think, now that we're talking about it, one thing that I think was really key for us was just timing. Like, so when we all met, like 91, 92, I've been DJing like 5 years. I know, Jay, you probably 7, 8, maybe more. A lot more. Curse, same. Rhett, you same. So I feel like, at that point, we all had a pretty competent understanding of, how to scratch, how to mix. We all had pretty decent record collections. So, we were kind of a little further along in our skill sets. But had we met maybe 5 years prior to that, you know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it wouldn't have been the same level of inspiration and whatnot. I just think that was really important for us, like for the Beat Junkies. You know what I mean? Like, because when I met all you guys, like Rhett was doing these massive hall parties with Curse, you know what I'm saying? Like, you were making beats, battling. Jay was already killing it. Choc, you were on the air, like, been killing the radio. So, like, yeah, the fact that everyone was like developed, in terms of like skill set, I think was important for us. And obviously that just influenced me in just, like I said, every way possible. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think you brought up an important thing, Melo, was like, we're lucky the crew that we have is a very organic thing. I don't think, I mean, I guess you were trying to form a crew, Jay, but I don't think you had these kind of expectations. Like, we're going to open up a DJ school and all this, like 20 years later.
Or did you?
I don't know. Maybe you did. Maybe that's why you're the Funky Prez. But, but I regardless. But I think that's, I do feel like what happened with all of us, there's, obviously we've been together for this long. There was a real reason beyond we just liked hanging out together that we've managed to stay a crew this long, right? I think like when we formed the crew, there was a natural attraction or like, we saw something similar in each other, and I don't, like I said, like I spent a while looking for this crew. I didn't think of at the time, but I was longing and constantly like, gosh, I must have been so annoying. Like I think like when I was like 19 or 20, like if I found out you had any interest or inkling about DJing, you DJ? What? Oh, sure. You want to cut it up? You want to talk? You want to talk about DJing? You want to hang out and like, what kind of headphones you got? You know what I mean? It's like, I would just like scare people away. Like, I think, it wasn't until I started, I finally had this that it like, it all made sense. So, and it was natural. Like I felt like, when I met all of you guys, I'd known you guys for a long time.
Yeah, it definitely felt like family as soon as we all met, for sure.
Other squads I've been in and, whatever, crews of sort, I felt like there was situations where, it was good at the time. It worked out for me at this time, or maybe I grew past it, or some people fall by the wayside, or interests grow, or life gets in the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I would say we're all really lucky that we all found each other and we all maintained this squad.
For sure. I've always had DJ homies like C- and the Baker Boys growing up. But like I said earlier, when I got with you guys, it was just life changing, man. I just looked at DJing completely different after meeting you guys and just seeing like where I could take myself and also to like level up with you guys. You guys were on another level when I first met you guys. And you guys still are. But for me, it's just like I really felt I needed to step up. And that was the beauty of being in the crew with you guys, for sure.
One thing I will say about, I forgot what I was going to say. But one thing I was going to say is being in a crew, it definitely expands what you know, because not even just skill-wise, but just how you're saying, Babs, record-wise, even equipment-wise, because you could go to the homie's house and not everyone had the same mixer. Not everyone, you know what I mean? Everyone had a different, everyone had different equipment. You might have 12s, of course, but some people had a DMC mixer. Some people had a Newmark. Some people had a Gemini. So you got to adapt to every mixer. And I think that also helps out a lot, because you're like, oh, man, I can get down on that mixer. Oh, I can get down on that mixer, too. Because everyone had a different one. So, you want to learn that one? And you're over that person's house. I mean, we would cut it up at Curse's garage for 6, 7 hours, 8 hours until the break of dawn.
Yep.
You know? And then especially if we just linked up with each other on a 101 level or whatever.
Phone calls, whatever.
Not even a phone call, but a lot of times people would spend the night at people's houses.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I go out to your house. I spent the night at everyone's house, I think, pretty much, because I live so far.
Shoot, Short spend the night at Rhett's house a lot.
Well, yeah, but D and Short when they first came on down, they would crash at my house and stuff. So
Curfew. Didn't you have a curfew?
Curfew.
Yeah.
yeah,
I definitely crashed at your pad a few times, Babs.
Yes.
D, I used to drive up to the bay. We used to kick it, take me to Q's. We cut it up at Q's. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I forgot about the mixer thing.
No,
Definitely.
And Jay brought up a really good point. Just the amount of knowledge you amass. I think of all the things that I probably would have taken me so much longer to learn. Not just talking DJ stuff. I mean, like just 4-tracking, sampling, like which samplers to use. How do I use a sampler? Like ADATs. I remember ADATs. Remember we used to talk ADATs. We used to talk SP1200s and mixing boards and just all that stuff. Like before there was things like online courses and DJ schools and the internet in general. It was really hard to get all this knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
You had to call a homie up.
You had to call a homie up.
For sure.
Or you had to listen to a record 20 million times. Or you just had to keep going to Guitar Center and buying and wasting money until you got the right 4-track. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or, like for us back in the day, you would just have to just a lot of DIY and learn things. But then when you had a crew, you know what I mean? It was like half the battle, like on a lot of things.
For sure.
I got a question for D. Being that, like, when you joined up with us, being from the Bay Area, what was your outlook and point of view when you joined the crew? Because I know you had your own crew kind of back in the Bay.
Yeah, I mean, so like, just like you guys, like I would practice with other homies. Shout out to DJ Ruthless, DJ RPM. But it wasn't until I met you guys, 93, 94, that I finally felt like you guys were full time into this. You guys were already committed to like this being for life. And
Life, home.
so like all my friends like who I used to practice with, they were not fully into it all the time. Like sometimes
They had a day job or
they'd be in school or whatever, and I think I was the only one who wanted to do this full time. And so I met you guys and it was like, man, these guys are on the same path I'm on, and you guys knew way more than I did. So I would just constantly pick you guys' brains and bug you guys. How do you do this? I didn't know the importance of having doubles records until I saw Jay, Melo, all you guys flipping records. I only bought singles of a record, But anyways, yeah, I learned a lot just from just being around you guys, soaking up all that knowledge that you guys have learned from years,
Shoot.
But see that the thing is, I think we all learned from watching other crews. So I know when I was younger and there was crews, man, I cannot remember the name of this crew, but there was a few crews in Santa Ana and a couple crews kind of in Newport Beach, and they were the black dudes that lived out there. And Jerry curls, everything you could think of 80s.
World's a curl.
They had the Jerry everything, but they were all dope. And I used to be so envious, be like, man, you guys, both of these crews, like I swear to you, like they were all
DJ crews?
Yeah,
Dance?
they were all
Okay,
DJ. These were all DJ crews. And this is like when I was growing up and I was watching a lot of the in Santa Ana, like how Rhett said a crew called Double Exposure earlier. In Orange County, there was a lot of party crews where they would just throw parties, and then they would also have a gang of dope DJs in that crew. And everyone's kind of an offshoot, I would have to say, of Mix Masters, because I think Mix Masters at the time on K-Day and Uncle Jam's Army on KGFJ, I think that really, with LA having music like that on the radio when that wasn't anywhere else in the world at the time, that breeded a lot of DJs. Like a lot of us heard that and how do you do that? Wanted to, but like I'm saying though, all these crews were dope, and I used to get mad because I couldn't be in them, and I didn't understand why. You know what I mean? And I just wasn't on their level, and I never understood that until I met all you guys, and then there's people that want to be in the crew that I was cool with, or you guys were cool with, and man, I want to be down with you guys, man. How I be a beat junkie? And you're like, man, well, you know. But I went through that. Like I watched these dudes. I mean, D Styles, homie. If you would have saw these dudes, D, you would have been like, yo, these are the baddest scratchers. Like these dudes used to bend records like and do a thing called the taco scratch. Like, man, homie. Like no joke. I
wish I could remember their names.
I wish I could remember all. Well, one crew was called Only Buggin' was one crew, and that was a car crew, and they were all had bugs. So this is like 85. So yeah, all of them.
Car crews, wow.
So they all had bugs, lower trucks. Everything was VW, and they were called Only Buggin'. But they had a group of DJs that DJ'd their parties. Yeah.
We only bugging at every party.
Probably. But my point of the story is, the point of the whole thing is I think it's also important that we didn't get brokenhearted and sad and mad that we gave up on crews. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't get in that crew, I don't want to be in no crew again. I'm like, that made me want to be in a crew even more. Like, yo, I'm gonna make my own crew. I'm gonna have my own crew of homie. Like everybody, that was your belt or your
fuel.
black belt. That's
your fuel.
Like, yo, we got a crew. Everybody had a crew. So like you had to have a crew of everything back in those days, I think. Yeah. I don't think nowadays, as you're saying, Babs, I think the internet just
It changed the
game.
It
lowered the bar as far as trying to make friends and trying to. I don't need a friend. I don't need to call you on the phone. I can just go to Google.
That quest for knowledge is not there. You know, like you can just, like I said, you can just go on your phone and find everything out. You know, so I'm not knocking any of them, but I do encourage, you know, this future generation to like give it a shot. You'd be surprised what it's like to physically get up and cut it up with somebody, or go record shopping with somebody and not be virtually hanging out.
I have a question then. Yeah. So I'm gonna go back. This one I want everyone to answer though. This is my question. Were there crews that you watched when you were growing up that you were down with, and you were kind of hurt that you weren't in it? Was there any crews that you wanted to be in at that time? Or was it like, man, did that give you inspiration to get better? Was that like one of the reasons?
Yeah, I would say for me, yes. I like, of course, like I said, all the local cats in mind, like Public Image which is Curse's crew. I mean, there was the original generation of Public Image, and they were like running Cerritos, and then when they retired, they gave the name to Curse and they were running Cerritos, and I was like, man, I wish I could be down with them.
You weren't down with them at all?
I mean, I was just kind of like, you would say like the little
homie. You're the homie.
The homie, little brother, whatever, because they were the big shots already, So, and I had my crew, but we all looked up to them, So, I just like, man, I wish I could be down with them, or see Nights of the Turntables, or.
Classic Cuts. That's the other crew. Damn.
Okay.
And the other crew was called Star Wind Productions. Yes.
Okay.
Hey, y'all ain't watching. Y'all probably Jerry curled up somewhere. But if y'all are out there, man, there we go. Man.
Jerry Curl inspiration.
Man,
I like
they
that.
were dope, homie. All right. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
I would have forgot. So you. So Curse and what? Shout out to Curse and what? That's Beat Junkie crew.
Word.
So
Shouts out to the whole crew.
shout out to the whole crew.
Yeah. I mean, for local wise, yeah. I mean, of course, K-Day or Uncle Jam's Army. Those.
You weren't getting into them though.
I mean,
I'm talking about crews that you're like, man, I
was
could get in
for
this
me,
crew.
y'all
ain't that bad.
Oh yeah. Like if you're talking about, no, I suck. No, but but those are like the ones I like growing up and stuff. Always wish I could be like I was the homie, but I was not part of the group. Yeah.
How about you, D? Was there crews that you hung out with back in the day? Then they just didn't let you down.
No, not really. I mean, most of the crews that I looked up to were older, so there was no way in hell they were going to put me in there. You know what I mean? So I was just a kid who would take the bus, and they were driving already. So
Yeah. For me, it was. It wasn't me being envious of being in the crew. Like Baker Boys, they're brothers, so they had their own little crew.
You ain't getting in that one.
So I knew I wasn't getting in that one, but that was how me and C- hooked up and became partners.
There's two reasons why you ain't getting it.
That's my family though; they're my brothers for sure. But C- that's one of the reasons why we became a duo, because the Baker Boys were making so much noise, as a duo themselves, being on the radio, DJing the clubs. So we wanted to do the same thing. So yeah, that's how it all came from. Roughnecks.
Fire. Mellow, Babs.
Yeah, I don't really have any recollection or memories of seeing crews. I mean, like I said, I seen all you guys DJ. I mean, with the exception of UD, but I mean, Rhett's crew, Babel, met you later.
You saw me DJing in the window at Melrose. That was Babs.
But I think
Atomic Garage.
Wow, Atomic Garage.
I think my main takeaway was, not necessarily thinking like, oh, I want to be in J.Rocc's crew, I want to be in Rhett's crew, I want to be in Double Platinum. It was I was more fixed on, I just want to be able to do what they're doing, type shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just psyched. Like every time I saw, Rhett play, Curse play, come see you DJ, it was just like, fuck. Like D was saying, like you were the one that put me on to buying doubles. Like I remember going record shopping with you, like going to the counter. But you get Mellow, Jay looking through my. You what? One man.
I got shout out, man. One person that put me on game was my boy Streak, DJ Streak.
Oh, what up,
Streak.
Yeah, that's the homie.
So
Insane
I'm gonna
voice.
date myself. F it. I started DJing like 82, 81. Planet Rock was out. I wasn't serious like having turntables, nothing, but that piqued my interest at that time. Like, yo, I want to do what they're doing. Rocket. But Streak, so I've known Streak since about 85, 86, and he was the first person I ever saw play Two Live Crew, Mr. Mix It Up. Like he was playing, but he had doubles of all of this stuff. I was like, you got doubles of all of it? He's like, you don't? And I was like, am I supposed to? And this is 85, 84, 85. And early game. And I was like, man, I didn't know you were supposed to buy doubles of all this stuff. So that Streak put me on the game of buying doubles. And then hearing all the DJs on the radio, the mix masters, like, oh, wow, they're doubles of Clear. Wow, doubles of Rocket, don't stop, don't. Dip, dip, dip. You got to scratch the stop.
all the staples,
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Anyway, go ahead, Babs, your turn. What cruise, man? Any cruise?
Nah, I don't really remember you know what? I was a hater. I was a little hater when I grew up.
Fat Beats Babu.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, Fat Beats Babu was a hater.
I don't even want to say I was a hater, but like, you know, I was always ready to battle. Like that was my mentality.
You were a B-boy.
No, I wasn't in a crew yet, so I was like,
Hip-hop mentality.
everybody was not in my crew, so I was very like, you know, I was looking at other DJs. I was never impressed. You know, there was a few crews around our way. It was early on. It was more like mobile crews, and I guess I was never really envious because I always looked at them like, you know, they look like herbs, like, you know what I'm saying, or man, they got a couple herbs in their crew. I'm like, I wouldn't roll like that, like, you know what I mean, like, you know what I mean. I didn't really the crews. I think like same thing with D, like the crews I had imagined were just way unrealistic, like for me to like even ever imagine being a part of. So I didn't even have it on my brain that I wanted to necessarily. I think the crew thing was an accident for me.
What, this crew or just?
Yeah, like thank God. Like I had no idea what it was. I was so used to just rolling dolo. You know, I had a rap crew, but at the same, I never had a DJ crew.
I had
a mobile crew.
That
but,
brings me to a question, Babs.
Yeah.
What made you say yes? What made any of you guys say yes to be in the Beat Junkies?
Oh man, it was easy for me. Everyone was dope. It was like on some Wu-Tang shit. Like everyone was sick. Like I honestly looked at everyone and I was like, okay, he fucks my head up. He fucks my head up. He fucks my head. Like it was like a unanimous across the board. And then I met everyone.
You didn't give
like,
anybody the B-boy thing or the
No, before I met you guys, I did shit. But I mean, I was all cool with you guys when I met in Santa Barbara. Me and Rhett battled and everything. But yeah, like I was, you know, I was going for it. I wanted to win. I was like, you know, I had a chip on my shoulder, like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, but on the real, I was always trumped by like, oh man, I met some other real. I was like, Rhett, you have a 2200. You have a Gemini 2200. Like, you know what I mean? I was
different mixers, everybody.
no, like oh man, like, you know what I mean? Like all these little things, like you guys talk about buying doubles and, you know, certain gears, certain ways of thinking. Like I knew DJs, but I didn't know DJs like DJs, like, you know what I mean? I meet someone who's like maybe lucky because their parents bought them a coffin and a Newmark and now they're doing parties. Those were DJs I was meeting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when I'd be like, oh, let's cut it up. They're like, yeah, go ahead. You can cut it up on my stuff. I'm going to be over here playing video games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wasn't like we were cutting it up together or trading knowledge or anything. So that was really different about this crew, I think, for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, I met a majority of you guys in the Ghetto Baby record pool.
Frank V.
Yeah, Frank V.
Frank
rest in
V,
peace, my
yeah,
brother,
man. Frank V.
And I remember just like going to those meetings and just like kind of just hanging out with y'all, you know what I'm saying? And just like talking, DJing, practicing. You guys would come to the radio show and hang out with me and C Minus, and I'd go and hang out with you guys. And I remember just asking you guys, hey man, I want to get down with y'all, man. How do I get in the Beat Junkie crew? And I'm thinking like, you know, I'm on Power, and like it's an easy fit, you know, but you guys are like, we'll let you know, brother. You know what I'm saying? But the thing was, but the thing was that was cool about it though was that we still all hung out. We still like, you know, like went to gigs.
Oh, we didn't make it funny for you then.
No, not at all. No. You guys were still cool with me and everything, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually you guys came and told me, yeah, we want you in the crew, and gave me a ring. So I was like, oh man, it's on from here.
I think you and I got lucky, Choc. I heard Jay was already like at that point.
Yeah.
Jay was like, no more members, no more. You guys keep bringing new people in, and I can't help but like them. So stop, like no more.
Everybody was dope. That's the problem though. Like everyone that wanted to bring in somebody was trying to bring in someone that they felt was dope. It wasn't like y'all were just bringing in. I mean. Yes, I was pissed. D Styles and Shortcut. Like, I wasn't pissed though, but it was like, yo, it's like they just come. Everyone just comes back into town from Scratch Happy Land, and then like, and then all they do is like, yo, Jay, man. Oh, what's up, man? Oh, man, you should have been there. We just put these two dudes down in the crew, man. Huh? Yeah, man. D Styles and Shortcut. You gotta hear them, man. They dope, man. They dope. I was like. What the? You just put them down? Yeah, man. Don't worry about it. Basically, you didn't say that. No one said that, but it was like a basic thing. It was like that. Like, yo, don't worry about it. We ain't gonna steer you wrong. These dudes are dope. Yeah. These guys, we were just out there cutting it up with them. you should, if you don't, it's your fault. You don't know. It's like that type of vibe. It was still dope. I was like, all right, man. Right. You know, and no one was bad at that. No one was bad in the crew anyway. So the track record was good already. Like, it was like, all right, I'm gonna bring in. All right, Curse want to bring in Melo. Boom. Ooh, Melo's nice. He's nice with it. Someone want to bring in Ice. Boom. Oh, okay, I see where Ice is at. All right. Yeah. All right, he's not. Yeah. Ice want to bring in Symphony. Oh, snap. She's, what? Yeah. All right, we got to calm down now. We getting too many. Boom, Havoc. Oh, okay, Havoc. I'm with it. Man, I'm bringing in Sweet Pea. Bringing Sweet Pea. Shit. Sweet Pea was dope. Sweet Pea. Yeah. Then we had one dude. We had one more guy. We were like, he almost there. But we didn't even let him in.
You know what I'm saying? Momentary, right?
Yeah, he was in for like
I wasn't around for that. I just heard about
he wasn't even that long. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't click with the crew. Like, he didn't vibe out. And that was the thing. When I finally met D and Short, everybody was like, oh, all right. Yeah. Yo, Jay, take this gravity bong here. It's like
that's how you got in the crew.
That's a secret. Oh man, we do the same drugs. All around the similar age, and we all do the same kind of self-abuse, and we DJ. Yes.
Self-abuse. Thanks, Babs. I have a question for all of us. We come from a day when there was crews everywhere, you know what I'm saying? From the X-Men to the Scratch Pickles. What has kept us together as a crew? Silence. I like that. Think about it.
It's a good question.
You got to answer it right. That's the problem. I think, you know what? Go ahead, Rhett. I'll let Rhett answer. I'll answer it too, but I think everybody should just have their own part. Because we didn't even answer why you say yes to the crew in the first place.
Let D.
Finish that.
D.
Yeah.
Why'd you say, being from the Bay, D, and you were already in your own thing, and as you bugged out on the long distance charges, so you must, because calling the Bay to LA was definitely expensive.
Yep.
What made you say yes to being down with the crew that's all the way in Cerritos, Orange County, and you know, like,
I mean, I think I was always looking for that, number one, you know, just that common denominator. And I always felt like I needed to surround myself around people who were better than me. And I felt like when I met you guys, you guys were doing all just different shit. Like, I never seen that style of DJing before. Honestly, man, I used to ask Short, do you understand what those guys are doing? I have no fucking clue. Like, the way you would rock doubles and just do, you know, snare pops and all that stuff. Like, I seen some of that, you know, because we would do that in the Bay, but I felt like you guys were on another level. And so, you know, when I met you guys, I felt like I had a lot to learn, a lot to catch up on. And I was hungry for it, you know what I mean? And we had so much in common: music, drugs, weed. Sorry,
weed. Not drugs. Not drugs. No.
Damn.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been looking for that, man.
I mean, it's the same way. D, when the Flare Scratch came out, I mean, I remember when Qbert tried to show us, it was like, oh, you just do the, but you basically broke it down to us how to do the Flare Scratch. You pretty much, like, this is how you do it. This is, you know, you explain it. And basically, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't probably, we introduced the Flare Scratch to Southern California.
I think just in general, I think that also was a big thing, was everyone sharing their scratches with each other. You guys used to come back so happy that you guys would learn a new scratch coming from D, and oh man, we hung out with D Styles and Qbert, and they showed us
that was fun, man.
They showed us this scratch.
Dude, those were epic weekends, man. At Qbert's house for like 14 hours. At D's, cutting it up all night. Yeah, man, that shit was fun. But it was just as fun, like, you know, going to your guys' parties too. What was that, Spice back in the day?
What you trying to say, man?
Nah, so going, but
y'all were cool too. Man.
Going back to your question though, like, so for me, like, that was just a fucking no-brainer, man. Like, it was just like everyone was fucking dope. everyone was fucking it up, like in some capacity or another. All the hot parties, like we're jumping off, like, you know, we were hanging out, practicing our curses, record shopping, like that was just like on site. Crew, what? Yeah, ring? Let's go. Like,
Ring. Yeah, the ring. That was everything. All right, so everybody's asking the question.
All right, what you got to
Now
say,
back to the
Choc?
question I asked. What has kept us together as a crew? And when we've seen other crews break up, come back together, reunions, all that stuff, but we have still stayed together over 2 decades. So what has kept us together as a crew?
I think, I mean, I'm speaking for all of us, obviously, but I like to think that, you know, a big part of that is because, you know, this many years later, like there's still that commonality, that common denominator amongst us all about, you know, wanting to be dope, you know what I'm saying? Wanting to like stay up on music, wanting to improve, wanting to grow, like wanting to diversify, like, you know, maybe in or outside of DJing, like we still all share that. And I feel like secondly, like just communication, like we're always like either fucking around on a group text or we're hanging out here, teaching class together, pairing up, doing shows, you know what I'm saying? Like recording projects or whatever.
It's
like
that brotherhood you talked about earlier.
Yeah, just like, you know what I mean? I feel like those two things have been a big part of the fabric for us. And yeah, but again, that's just in theory, but that's, you know, in retrospect, like
I like
that's
that.
the way I
Well,
see it.
to add to that, like I personally think besides, you know, what you said, Melo, we all went together through the trenches. We went through the dirt together.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kept, to me personally, I think that's what else kept us together. I mean, we, like any crew or any families, we had our ups and downs and whatever, whatnot. But what kept us together, I think, is like you said, the brotherhood. We're pretty much in each other's lives, not only professional.
Lies? Wait a minute, what are you calling lies?
I mean, you know,
Lives.
yeah, like, you know, like we were.
Don't be lying for me, bro. Hey, J.Rocc.
I mean, you know, besides professionally, we were there for each other personally, you know. So I mean, respect to you know, to our brother crews and stuff. But you know, you know, some of the other crews were probably maybe more popular than us. But I think for us, we just stick together regardless. Like, we went through shit together. We went through hell together, and we stayed. You know, we're still here.
No doubt. Babs?
I have a theory. I used to always, like, early on, I thought like I always used to wonder, why do we get passed up for other crews? Like, you know, I don't even have to say names, but like other crews get opportunities at a certain time, and I always felt like we would kind of be treated like the stepchildren. Like, when the other two crews aren't available, oh, okay, let's call the Beat Junkies now.
Yeah.
You know, and I never got that, you know, and I never really took offense to it. I love all our brothers, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Respect.
Our big bros, in fact.
Yes.
But I think early on when I used to think like, man, did we miss our chance? Did we not strike when the iron was hot? When this whole turntablist wave movement, you know, maybe we should have put out an album. Maybe we should have like pulled together and done something. Instead, what we actually did was everyone went their own direction.
Yeah.
You on the radio, you're there, I'm there. I went with a band. You're on TV, you're on the radio. You know, D, you're in other crews. You know, Rhett, you're in a rap group too. You know what I mean? And we did that for like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 2012 we really said, hey,
Anniversary
is when we said, hey, let's dig in and do something. And I guess, you know, what can I say? I'm really grateful and thankful for the way things turned out. Maybe you call us late bloomers, or maybe like, you know, maybe we didn't like, maybe the fact that we didn't put all our eggs into the Beat Junkie basket early on, it you know, it gave us, you know, we're at this point in the timeline where we're older and wiser and more patient, and it makes sense now, and I'm grateful for it, I guess. I try to look at it like that. But that's why I think we're still here, is because like all those 10 years when we all went the separate way, we just kept it, like Melo said, it was always just like a funny ass text combo or a quick cipher. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, I mean, we started beatjunkies.com. We had a little label. We're putting out records.
I'll say all those 10 years, I'll say though, whatever the break was, I'm not even gonna call it a break, because
We never broke up.
yeah, it wasn't like a breakup or anything.
But we didn't put all our eggs into the Beat Junkies basket. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know.
No,
okay.
we didn't. We didn't try to just capitalize on the Beat Junkie name, but we try to capitalize on our own names. And at the same time, the only reason we all had names is because we were Beat Junkies. And then when we're all doing our own thing, we're still repping Beat Junkies.
sure.
Yep.
For
So
sure.
then that helped out. That's still. It wasn't like.
we continued growing.
Yeah, we continued growing, and I think I think that was the dope part of our growth is one. We never, even when we saw other crews doing bad, like dang, they ain't together no more, they beefing, or damn, then, we talked about it. Like we didn't talk about like, oh man, we need to not try to. We still hung out. We still talk. I saw you at Fat Beats. I saw you at Friday Night Flavors. I saw you at. We would just go hang out somewhere. I would see Rhett. Me and Rhett would go. Everyone still was in communication nonstop with each other. But I think that break definitely helped out the crew as far as getting the name even
Stronger.
out there stronger,
Stronger.
making it even more of a solid name. Because you were Dilated, Babs, and that was like one of the fucking biggest rap groups, you know, for our generation, next to like a Gangstar or some shit.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
I feel like we're all doing things like that.
No,
though,
for
you
sure,
know?
for
You know,
sure,
and- but that was the thing. That's what I'm saying though, Jay. Is like I feel like there's this unsaid thing we have amongst each other. It's not going to be unsaid anymore because I'm saying it now. But but I think we all always kind of track the movement on each other, and we always kind of
For
like
sure.
moved in respect. And I do it without thinking about it, but there is something in my head that says like, this is Beat Junkie quality move here. Like I should be doing this or I should be doing that. I think the guys would approve.
Yeah.
You know, like I think we have that all.
We didn't do anything
unsaid.
whack.
Yeah, like we have a very high standard for ourselves that we built up during that time. We continue to grow and develop. I think we all individually raise stock while raising the crew's name at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, but like Rhett said, we never broke up, but I don't think we ever fully formed until 2012.
I mean, yeah, T. I mean, also for you, you were doing a lot of things also too with other crews and whatnot. I mean, what was your point of view?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of what you said, Rhett. We've been through a lot, and I'm speaking like just from being friends. Like we've grown. Friends. Like we've gone through the highs and lows. You know what I mean? I've like if you guys needed any help, you know what I mean. You guys would call me, vice versa. Like just as on some friends. So I think that's what's really kept us. Like I know we all had music in common, but we realized like shit, man, we've been working together for years, man. We're friends. Like we're stuck with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
D, part of me is like, man, there's so many weird motherfuckers out here. You guys are the only guys I can trust.
That too.
That is the truth, Ruth. Seriously.
Just kidding, everyone out there. You guys are okay. I'm just kidding. Mello, anyone else on theories on how the hell we're still around?
Anybody.
Yeah, I think just the way D just ended it, just said, he just said we became homies.
Sums it up.
I mean, I think we were already homies in the beginning. The music and just hanging out and the scratching and the vibes and all that we brought to each other. I think that definitely started more of the friendship, but then being together for so long, and I mean, even back in the days when we would have to share hotel rooms together, and you hear how one dude snores, and you would make jokes. It just everything. It just snowballed into more of a deeper friendship and becoming homies, and like meeting your parents and your mom and your dad. Oh, are you DJing with your friends tonight? And then they know.
I know J.Rocc's mother and father personally.
Yeah, like,
Y'all know.
We all do.
but that's what I'm saying though. Like our
for real.
parents know who each other. Like I can say to my mom, like I gotta go DJ with Babu, or I'm gonna go DJ. Oh, tell Choc.
I follow your mom on Instagram.
That's what I'm saying.
man.
My mom follows all you guys.
Instagram, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
My mom follows all you guys.
Follow D's wife. You know what I'm saying? Follow Choc's son. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
We're all family, man.
it's family, right?
That's what it is.
But yeah, building better DJs, guys.
Hey.
Being in a crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like everybody out there, make sure you subscribe. Like I said earlier, check us out at beatjunkies.com, beatjunkies.tv, beatjunkiesound.com. Check us out on all our social media. It's either the Beat Junkies or at Beat Junkies. But everyone say peace.
Rhettmatic.
D Styles.
Melo-D.
J.Rocc.
Mr. Choc.
Babu, Beat Junkies, building better DJs. See you guys next episode. Peace.